we've talked about customers a lot, and we've talked about customers over the years with I Love Claims. And we've talked about the fact that we're modern customers and we have demands and want certain experiences. But there is a dark side to this. So I know that I, as a modern customer, I'm happy to vent online. If I don't get my own way or I don't get what I want from a brand, and I can do that anonymously. No one else knows if it's me. I can go on and I can say, I'm not happy with this. This was rubbish. How dare you? So it's interesting because despite being more informed and despite having so much information, the customers still seem to think that that maintenance is covered within the scope of the policy. And I know it's controversial because the customer is king, but we have to speak to them, and this just seems to be missing. Now, I have a theory about this because it might be because insurance is quite dull, so who's going to look it up and who's going to keep themselves informed? So what do we do? How do we combat this? So just like any other claims manager or insurance manager, I'm driven by loss and expense ratios. They are paramount. It's within my objectives. I have to look after those two things. So in order to meet the demands of the customers, we had to rethink how we recruit. And we needed to think about the rapport that our people should build up with customers and the modern day customer, how they relate, how they make a personal contact, a personal touch with the customer. We want them to be more human. So we've chucked away the scripts. No more scripts. We don't want you to be a robot on a phone. We want them to have emotional intelligence, to react if the customer tells them something's happened or something awful's happened, whether it's they're just ringing up and they're asking a query and the cat's died, or whether it's something to do with a claim. We want them to have that empathy. But something else that's really important, because our people are dealing with anything from a fatality claim to a lost mobile phone, and the levels of frustration and distress that the customers go through, it's really important that they're resilient. And resilience is a bit of a word at the moment, a key word, but it's so important for our people to be resilient because they are being the emotion that's being thrown at them, for either for frustration or irritation because of the claim, is just immense. So Omar, from a recruitment side of things, you've been through the process much more recently than I have. Tell me, what was your story?
Thank you, Connie. So when I first arrived, my first impression of the company was that it was rather technical, which was in line with what I thought the industry was all about, to be honest. However, I carried out a bit of research beforehand, and all I was getting was no claim discounts, reserves, peril codes, highest paying perils, all of that kind of technical jargon, really. However, when I arrived for my interview, I was in for quite a surprise. After the usual few icebreaker questions, I took a look around and I noticed that most of the applicants were in fact from a non-technical background. There were people from retail, hospitality, printing, even art. Then there was this big focus on vulnerable customers, which again was very interesting because I assumed that a vulnerable person was somebody with a particular disability. However, the training opened my eyes up to the world of vulnerabilities out there, such as somebody who's just experienced a distressing event, for example, a burglary. So at this point, I could see that the company genuinely cared about helping others, and the beliefs and the culture were really starting to resonate with me. And I'm a family man myself. I understand the importance of making other people happy, understanding others, understanding other people's emotions and feelings. And I could vouch for firsthand the unique bond that these kind of attributes and behaviors bring. There was so much going on, it was imperative that I was able to multitask. And I would say a strong product knowledge was an essential driver in my ability to handle the complex queries we were being faced with by customers. In addition to this, I'd say a good level of general knowledge of buildings and contents as a whole was very important in order for us to be able to anticipate the type of problems that we'd be faced with by our customers beforehand and be ready with a solution in the time of our customers' need. Then there was the business demands. So due to time constraints, we were expected to manage conversations effectively. And from my experience, I found that the best way to do this was to try and put the customer at ease as early as possible and ask the right questions. Questions which answered would provide me all of the information I need to process the customer's claim. I'm particularly fond of the use of parameter questions, which I feel is an invaluable tool in our day-to-day communications with our customers. So, in summary, Connie, I'd say as a new starter, the 3 key elements for me would have been balancing the business's needs along with the customer's needs, understanding the actual contract of insurance itself, so understanding our rights and obligations to our customers and likewise. And finally, I feel it was very important to learn how to build a strong relationship with our customers in a very short space of time.